Hey guys, Third Street Reactions here. We're back. I'm Shane.
Zakk.
We're back here with another episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. We're watching in chronological order. I have seen it. This man has not. He introduced me to Star Wars, so I'm reintroducing him to stuff in the canon that he wasn't exposed to yet.
Yeah,
And just little stuff which is...
I turned my back on it for a while.
Yeah, and let's just say, be honest, you know Darth Maul comes back because you've seen Solo.
Yeah.
But you don't know how or why, and you haven't seen anything else.
No.
So. Okay, so the last episode, I believe, Holocron Heist. Do you remember what happened?
Well, Cad Bane and the Changeling were hired by Sidious to...
And they were that rundown hotel place.
Yeah, they were to break into the Jedi Temple and steal a holocron that had the locations of all the Force-sensitive children throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, which is not a good thing for Sidious to have at all.
No, it is not.
Palpatine, might be the coolest villain ever in some ways.
He is definitely in my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some comics
like him. Bill the Butcher.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another.
Where'd you put Saruman? Would you put him there, or is he more like a
Sauron or Saruman?
I was thinking Saruman Dooku guy.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
He wouldn't make my top 5.
What about Sauron?
Not my top 5 either, because I think that
he's got less of a personality. At least
even in the Lord of the Rings, the actual original 3 books, it was more about the fear of that character. I mean, he's the title character. He's the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But it's more about the fear of him and the threat of him than it is really going into who he was.
Okay.
You learn more about who he was in the book The Silmarillion.
Okay.
Which is kind of the Bible of that world.
Yeah.
But Sauron wouldn't make my top 5 because he's just no really character development. I mean, even though I really like the books, The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The movies, I really liked the first one.
Yeah.
They kind of tapered off after that.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen because I read The Hobbit first, and
Yeah.
I don't really remember it. I saw the first movie, and I thought it was good. I love that song as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first movie's great. I mean, I think it's probably the closest to the books out of all 3 of them.
Okay.
And it does the best job of giving you the feel of the books.
That's cool.
And you have...
There's the main character, the main little dwarf guy looks like this guy named Anthony Canner that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
I've
met him.
He looks exactly like him.
Beard and everything?
He had a beard at once, but it's the face and everything.
No, he needs the beard back, and then I can make a real an honest judgment. But,
it's crazy.
Well, we don't have a lot of time to discuss it, but I mean, the top 5 villains for me, I mean, the Sidious is definitely in there. Actually, Vader might have been, because I went over this in my head before. Vader might be that just because of...
The journey?
Well, I'm kind of taking into consideration how big of an impact he had.
I mean, he's certainly the greatest, in some ways.
Yeah, but I think Sidious is definitely the best as far as...
He's probably the best. I understand what you mean.
He's like he's the best in terms of archetypal villainry.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I quote him so much more than I do Vader. I quote him so much more than I do Vader.
He's very quotable.
He is.
So, but especially the prequels.
Yeah, I quote him all the time. I quote Bill the Butcher all the time.
You do.
And I mean,
we're driving around, we'll do it.
Yeah, I do. So it's hard between him and Daniel Plainview and There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
So it's just
I think
I bounce back and forth.
Hugo Weaving in The Matrix is
Agent Smith.
Incredible.
Agent Smith was on there. Colonel Tappington.
I remember when AO and Sylvester used to... You believe you're fighting for something other than your survival? Can you tell me what it is? Do you even know? Could it be for peace and love? And you start finding ways to use the word insipid. I'm Googling it. This motherfucker. Don't use it. You could have used this one word.
Yeah, I know, but you can't tell me I'm the only one that does it.
Oh, of course not. I do it, and he's a great villain. So
no, he is. Agent Smith, Colonel Tappington was on there.
Colonel Tappington's great.
And probably Hook.
I do love Hook, yeah.
I love Hook just because he has a special place in my heart.
He does, and I have to say, Komodo has kind of a special place in mine as well.
We quoted him all the time just for the outrageousness. The outrageousness. Do not think thoughts!
Yeah. Yeah. That guy commits himself.
He was in the movie of Christian Bale, Equilibrium.
Okay.
He was the villain.
I haven't seen, but it was cool.
He was in the villain.
Yeah, I heard it was really cool.
I was watching it at the Third Street house one time, and I was just me in the house, and I was sitting there watching it. And all you fuckers come in and start just tearing into the living room and making all kinds of fucking racket.
I love cool villains. I love Star Wars. Let's start.
Oh. That is so convoluted I couldn't even remember it.
Overconfidence is the most dangerous form
Form
of
of
carelessness.
carelessness. I
Yeah,
know.
I think like
Too many syllables.
it was.
Admiral, intercept them before they can jump to hyperspace. Already the troops were boarding.
Boarding? We have no boarding craft. We were prepared to land on the planet, not aboard another ship. You can't be serious.
Anakin specializes on boarding parties.
Now target their hyperdrive. We don't want to get in the way.
Music. That was like the greatest thing I've seen in all 9 movies.
You are not thinking of using those to transport the clones to that frigate.
Well, they are pressurized.
And they're equipped with magnetic feet. Good call.
Master, you're a genius.
Those walkers are designed for terrain, not space.
Rex, load them up. Let's go, Snips.
Cool if they had the kind of like torpedo tubes. Hold the legs up and shoot them out.
Like through the ship.
They
We
fuck
need
a
something
lot
out.
up
Yeah.
for doing that.
Will never get me to unlock.
It's good to see a good rodeo.
I don't like Rhodians.
They're little assholes.
That's why Greedo.
Hit him again. Full power.
Again.
He's dead.
Looks like we would have to find another Jedi to open this whole thing.
They just tortured and killed someone. Yeah.
Just like decoy octopus.
So there they are.
You think they would be
So they
out
don't
there
really,
already?
They don't really have a fleet, and I think they didn't expect this.
Well, I know, but the ship's flying right over top of you.
Yeah.
Offer some resistance.
What are you doing?
Did you say no?
One of the beginning, it showed that the Republic is kind of overwhelming those few ships.
I know, but come on.
We're defending the bridge alone? Against the Jedi? I hate this job. No, shoot, I'm not the commander. He's the commander. Guess I'm the commander now.
Dumbass.
Stay sharp.
Yeah, Ahsoka's.
Switch to knife.
Do you see what that was?
I know. It's like Django and that damn stormtrooper in the first film. Well, fourth film.
Check your fire!
Get him, Master!
I wondered how he ended up separating them and make off with Ahsoka instead of Anakin on this trail.
We'll take it together.
Learned, didn't he?
Dumbass droid.
General Skywalker!
He's so cool to be able to do that.
I seem to have misplaced my battle run.
The ship is tearing itself apart.
Move off to a safe distance, Admiral, and wait my signal for evacuation.
Of all the Jedi, why did I have to end up with Skywalker?
Enjoy this while you can, Sleemo. This burning boat is about to finish us both off. You said we'd be safe back here. Come on, there's 3 of us and only 1 of him. It won't matter. Sir, a Jedi is coming. He looks very unhappy.
It was a badass moment, but they made it. They had to make it funny, you know.
Do you think you can kill me and then save her before she's pulled out into space? It's a horrible way to die.
Master, no!
Anakin's. Well, I think anyone in that situation would be.
We'll deal with the holocron later.
Oh, touch.
It's kind of his Achilles heel, though.
It is, especially him. Even though in that situation it would be hard for anybody. Probably most Jedi would do the right thing, you know.
My employers will be most pleased.
That's cool. It's pretty slick.
Yeah.
I have access to the holocron and all the information transmit it to me now. Then I can send another ship for you. No thanks, Viceroy. I have a plan for my own escape.
Accepted. I think it's got to be like $1 trillion.
All right then. I can't let Bane get away.
Patience! Master. Patience.
You're right.
He's gonna get away. Can't be patient about that. Guys, believe it. Just patience that you trust that you'll get him eventually.
Yeah.
Did you get the holocron?
No, sir.
I'll get it, Master.
No time.
Kind of hard to hide his breathing apparatus. That helmet.
So the mission was your usual version of success, then?
If by success you mean I won, then yes.
He is.
I liked it. I
Yeah.
like Cad Bane a lot,
Mhm.
and I enjoyed some of the action sequences were actually really good.
Yeah.
When Anakin got both sabers back,
That was a
and
good
fought
move.
the Super, yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And when Cad Bane slipped out of there like a slippery son of a bitch,
Yeah.
and closed the door and shot off his little rocket boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I really like Cad Bane too. A lot of people do. He doesn't lose very often.
you gotta imagine if you have rocket boots, how good you have to be at maintaining a perfect form. Because if you turn those fucking boots on and your knees are bent the wrong way or something,
Maybe
you're just gonna flip around.
lock your knees before you do
You
it.
don't have to stand like perfectly erect to do it. Otherwise, you shut those or you turn the sons
Or
of
your
bitches
ankles
on.
got to be.
Well, if you turn the sons of bitches on and say like his knees are bent and he's leaning forward, it would like kick you up
Yeah. I mean, I just imagine.
because the boots would fly forward before you did. The rest of you,
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be pretty good.
you're damn good.
Well, he is.
Whoa!
Oh. Ah, flashed. We didn't have Toto 360, unfortunately.
Good. I
Yeah.
didn't like him.
I love him. No, okay, so Cad Bane is kind of a fan favorite.
And
And
for obvious reasons, he's pretty damn cool. He looks cool, he sounds cool, and he does cool things.
Well, yeah.
He's like the revolver.
And he looks- yeah.
He's like the revolver ocelot of this series.
he's great. Yeah.
Yeah, they both are.
Yeah, of course. So he what I like about him is he presents Anakin with hard choices. I think when villains do that, it's always kind of a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
You do this and you'll save the it makes me think of
who we choose to be.
in Spider-Man. Yeah.
choose.
Yeah.
Drops Mary Jane and the
And
busted
just the
kids.
Dark Knight, and just great villains do that and stuff. You know what I mean?
They put heroes in hard places.
Yeah, and that's what he did. And we know Anakin struggles with saving people. I think this particular situation, it was very understandable for anybody. But he was never going to let Ahsoka die no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Anakin really bets on himself. He believes, well, I'll save her, and then I'll get that later.
I know that.
But in this episode, we didn't see that happen. He lost Ahsoka, and Bane kind of won.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He got so far. I mean, he's still on a Republic cruiser.
Yeah.
And incognito.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to fly under the radar long enough to get back somewhere or get out of there, an escape pod or something. But
Yeah.
even then, they're going to know.
Yeah. Bane.
It's a pretty tightly monitored situation.
Yeah. He kills a lot of clone troopers too.
He did.
Yeah.
Shot the one in the head, shot the one in the small of the back.
Yeah, there's
Everything.
a counter somewhere. He kills a lot in the series. He's a badass for
You
sure.
don't see that many of them really die. I mean, you see a few of them being killed by the droids, but
Happens sometimes.
But
The
it's-
one
it's
guy
not
just
that-
got his neck broken.
I know.
Ah!
I know. It's
Which
just
is
not-
kind of terrible.
It is. It's just not very prominent that you see it.
It's not very
But
prominent.
they make sure you know that he's a clone killer.
Yeah, he definitely
He hits
is.
his mark essentially.
Kills a lot of nameless, faceless, not important people. But in this type of show, that's what happens. You know
That's
what I
what you
mean?
have to do to have the show
Keep going.
keep going.
Yeah, and honestly, in Star Wars, they do that in general.
They do. But that's what comics do in general. That's what a lot of things, franchises do in general, because they want you to feel the danger, but you're always going to know your hero's going to
Yeah.
live to fight another day.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, it was just great to have Anakin in this entire series for the most part. But in this episode, you get to see why Obi-Wan said what he did, and to Luke. You know, you get to see Anakin, the hero, and the heroic, proficient fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
And
I just love seeing that.
Well, this show's evolved enough even over. I mean, I know this isn't the same season,
Yeah.
because chronologically it bounces around.
Yeah.
But it's great to see this as opposed to most of the other shit that we've been watching.
You're right.
It was a trudge through a lot of the first season.
I admit, and it was for me. I'm going through the fourth time basically.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is I'm going through. There's more Star Wars, much more later, and there's there's a current animated show on right now, and it's crazy. Like when I was watching this, it looks like unfinished previs for stuff that, like later on, everything looks so much better. Like I was looking at the characters, and their face looks like pre-visualized. It looks like a concept. So this show got canceled at one time when during the Disney acquisition, and they're like, oh well, just goes in Revenge of the Sith. But it's like, what? It's so incomplete. Dave Filoni, the amazing man that he is, he showed like a few things. Okay, well this is an arc we had planned, so we'll just show you guys the fans because I'll probably never get to finish it. And he shows you like this crappy CG pre-visualization of just story moments and and you have the voice actors talking, but the mouths don't move. It doesn't look too much worse than these first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cool stuff. The fire was animated badly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there's inconsistent things. Like sometimes you'll have a good animator animate fire amazingly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it continues to look better, and the story gets better, and the stakes rise, and more people get killed, and the show grows up quite a bit. I'm excited for you to see it. It truly is one of my favorite Star Wars things. But so this is the second introduction to the Bane, and as you can tell, there's at least one more episode left of this particular arc, and he's really cool, isn't he?
He's very cool. I enjoy him quite a bit.
Yeah, so you think of all the Star Wars villains. Star Wars has got a lot of great villains, and you've only seen a little bit of him, but he's very cool, isn't he?
Well, traditionally, if we're making a comparison between the both of us, generally I've liked those kind of villains, the bounty hunters, Django. I know you didn't particularly like some of those guys. Growing up, you were more into the Jedi Sith shit.
Yeah.
And I liked Vader to a point until I was so old.
Yeah.
I guess until such an age.
He's so unrelatable when you're older. I'm not going to do all this.
Well, not so much that. I mean, as I got older, but I was still younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I kind of grew out of him.
Yeah.
When I was really young, I liked him.
Yeah.
He sounded cool. He did cool things.
Yeah.
But I think as he was redeemed and everything, I kind of lost interest in him.
Yeah.
But it's still a good story.
Yeah.
I lost interest in him as a villain.
Yeah.
And Palpatine was always kind of that guy.
I mean, he's pulling the strings, and then everything we find out with him in the prequels and the books and stuff you haven't seen, he's amazing.
And with Dooku, I mean, I liked Dooku a lot growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
And so it kind of sold me to a point.
Yeah.
And he says a lot of cool things, and Christopher Lee always sounds cool.
I think Dooku's best moments are going to be in this show that you haven't seen.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, though, that he's become more unrelatable to me as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
Which, not all of them are very relatable. I mean, the fucking Palpatine's like a rich bastard that, he's in charge of the Senate and rules an empire, and he's kind of unapproachable. But
not a very approachable guy.
No, but I guess in the sense that Dooku's he's pompous. He's rich. He's his nice Rancor skin boots, even though I'm wearing Cayman boots. But
yeah, they are, aren't you, asshole?
So I guess I can relate a little bit.
A little bit.
I'm sitting there waiting for my head to get cut off. I can sit there and think, my boots don't matter anymore.
I just like his attitude and like his good form type.
I do. I guess. Yeah. I was a little preemptive there because he kind of is like Hook with that regard.
He is.
And I like Hook a lot.
In this show, though, it actually you see less of that and more of him as tyrannus type. Yeah. Like he does some evil stuff, but you also see him. You do see these instances where he's like he has to play kind of a politician. Yeah. He talks to me. He's like a slick guy.
Yeah. But he's like Saruman.
Then you see him as
he's an orator.
Yeah. Then you see him as a Sith though as well. Like you truly see him as a Sith, and that's more than I believe in the movies.
Absolutely, because most of the time in the movies he's giving speeches. He's talking kind of.
Yeah. He's being that
grandstanding in a sense because he's kind of like Hitler in that regard, and some of his roles are as Saruman and as Dooku. Even though Saruman was written that way in Lord of the Rings prior to Christopher Lee or any of that. Christopher Lee was probably born back then, but my point is that
you like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I've read The Hobbit and 19.
Yeah. Well, the Saruman in the books was written. There was a chapter called "The Voice of Saruman." He's supposed to be very compelling, bewitching
Okay.
with his speeches and
Yeah.
his manner of speech and his dialogue.
Yeah.
He could win people over. And they kind of, I mean, Tolkien was influenced. He was in the Great War and he lived through World War II
Yeah.
and shit. So he's familiar with Hitler and these ideologues.
Yeah.
And Saruman kind of reflects that.
Mhm.
And so does Dooku.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, they're played by the same man
Yeah.
in film, who is just has great oratory prowess because of his voice and his stage presence.
Yeah.
It's great to see him on screen.
My biggest regret was I saw Ian McDermott. He was like from here to that staircase. I kept raising my hand, but they answered the questions of little kids, but they answered one of some fucking old guy, not like kind of close to me. But I want to say, Ian McDermott, what was it like working with Christopher Lee? Which I don't think anyone's ever asked from that.
Oh, maybe someday.
Two titans.
Anybody that watches this and runs into him, you should ask him.
You should, yeah.
Because, we didn't...
The 250
we are-
people who watch us, ask him.
We are too far removed from Peter Cushing to have ever had a chance to learn
Yeah.
kind of that relationship on screen and shit. Even though he wasn't on screen with Ian McDermott. But
You know, it would have been so great if we saw those two actors interact.
it would have been... And they would have added a high mark to this series.
I'm all, Rogue One does, like, that movie was so good, and I think the use of the technology was so great.
They did a good enough job, and with
I would-
knowing that it's Star Wars for me,
Yeah.
helped me forgive the fact that I could still tell that it was
Yeah.
rendered in. But they did a great job, and he had such cool lines.
He
and
did.
shit
Like,
that
it's because, like, Peter Cushing was so good at creating a character that I think transcended Peter Cushing.
yeah,
That, like, when you read a book, like, I still know who that character is.
yeah, he stands out. He has such
That's
gravitas.
why when I watch that, I go, okay, Peter Cushing did such a good job of creating a character. You can take that character, emulate it, and you still feel like it's Tarkin.
Mhm.
So I would be all behind if they did some other movie where they put him and the Emperor together. That'd be great.
Would be.
Yeah.
Gotta have more cushion, babe.
You got to. I don't got too much else to say about this. I'm with you. I really like this episode. Bane's awesome, and there's more of him to come. So
Good.
that's it. Guys, thank you so much for watching this reaction. If you like us and you want to support us, well, you can. Zakk, what do they do?
You will like and you will subscribe,
Will.
or you won't, and then you
Because
wouldn't.
You will die. It
Then you shall die.
really helps. Leave a comment down below.